Morning, folks. It's the holiday. We don't really call it Thanksgiving because we know what that's about, but still, it's the holiday. So before I go to my grandma's for a little bit, try to get some personal stuff out the way, I am working on remixing, not as a remix is in a different beat, but I'm doing a mix over, redoing a mix of my EP Fragments, because again, in the external hard drive that I had all this stuff done on, it got damaged. So the original sessions are, let's just say, lost for now. So anyway, I have the completed MP3s, but not the waves and not the sessions. So what I'm presently doing is I'm just gonna do the mix all over again. I'm gonna do it to the best of my ability to try to get it somewhat close to what it was when I finished it a few years ago, just for my own edification, but also because I need an instrumental track and I need a clean and the regular were fine, but I need a clean and I need an instrumental. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm gonna do a little bit of this before I go to my grandmother's, and then I'll do some more of this when I get to my grandmother's. So where I'm at right now is I have this sound, I have this sound, and I have this sound. So what I'm doing at present moment, when all of it comes together at this part, they're all dead center. So what I'm gonna do for this first part is I'm going to, let me see if I can put this somewhere real quick where you can still see it. What I'm gonna do for this first part is, yeah, it's still too, okay. Let's see. This is how you know I'm not someone who does content. I don't have like camera stands and all that other good stuff. I just have makeshift stuff and I make the stuff work. All right, this might be good enough though. Let's see. Good enough? And maybe, let's just sit it there. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is, hopefully I can do this without this being in the way. So I am going to, let me see something real quick. Can we do this? Can we zoom in on it? Yes, we can. Okay, good. So yellow track, blue track, green track. Those three I'm going to pan a certain way, so that way there's more space. They're not all centered and there's a little more space, but just for those specific parts. So yeah, and I could have just done a pan of the, let me see. I'll just let that go. I could have done just a pan, overall general pan of like the entire track, but the problem is, not necessarily the problem, but the thing about doing that in this situation is I might want to switch the pans. I might want to cause a little chaos down the road with the panning, and this gives it a little more automation in the situation. If you think about it, this gives it a little more automation, so it'll automatically pan so far and then come back using an envelope, because what'll eventually happen, like I said, down the road I may want it to switch. Undo that. I may want to change it. You know what I'm saying? I might have it to where, yeah, I might have it to where, you know, they might cross. So this one is starting off on the left side, right? So this one, the second time we do it, I might switch it to where it's now coming in on the right. If I have it just hard, panned right there, it stays there the entire time. And so, you know, sometimes you got to create a little chaos. So envelopes or automation, depending on the jargon of your DAW, gives you that freedom to do that. It gives you that flexibility and that creativity to do so. this was at 23 if I remember correctly. So that's what I plan on doing. And then the thing with this one is, so here's the thing with this one. This is an organ. This is a synth. This is two synths blended together. That's a synth. This is an organ, and the organ is at this point competing with the main melody. So I'm gonna pan the both of these in this section, in this spot, but I'm only gonna do it, we're gonna try to do it with taste. We're gonna try not to pan them as hard as the other two for when those two go, because all four of those sounds are not gonna go at the same time the entire way. So I'll insert an envelope here. So what I'm going to want to do at this point is I'm gonna want it to pan less. Like, I don't want it to be so deep of a pan that now you know what I'm saying, now they're, you know, crossing over basically. I don't want, so basically how I'm putting it is, because I panned one right 23% and one left 26%. With these two, because I want them to still be closer to the middle than not, if I pan them around the same levels as the other two, then it defeats the point and purpose, because now you just got two of them kind of at the same level on your left and two of them kind of at the same level at your right. So I want two of them to be more dominant and more present in the middle, and then two of them kind of, it's like a weird stagger is the best way I can describe it. Cool. That works. So that's the point of it for me is, and of course, when thick saw goes back to its normal space, it'll just be back center. It's mainly just for this specific part of it where there's four different sounds going at once. And what this does sometimes, see, when you're used to just doing things with faders, the faders are pretty much permanent. All of these faders and things, everything that you do to the fader in that situation is pretty well permanent. So, or static, if that's the word that they call it. It's static. So anything that you touch down there is going to stay that way the entirety of the time. Whereas anything that you kind of do to the track itself, like if you want to do a volume envelope and you want to raise the volume up a little bit and then bring it back down, that's where the automation works for on my DAW. So envelopes and automation give you more fluidity and change if you want it. Whereas whatever you do to the faders directly, if you just put the fader at a certain level, like the fader is going to stay at that level until automation comes in and changes it, or until you change it yourself. So I had this one at what, 15? 11. Okay, bet. And this is 11, right? Okay, so we're going to put this one somewhere around like 9 or 11 left. Oh, I got 3 of them. I didn't ask for 3. Okay, we'll go 11 left. I can get 11 right and 11 left and have them be a little more even. That's fair. And so it stays there. And then once we get now to this particular point, and actually we can kind of carry this back some, because it doesn't even need to go that far with it. Cool. All right, so in this case now, so now comes the interesting part. Once it goes back to Because like if you look at it, right, I don't know if I have it shown on this one. I might not. So I've got other sounds going at the same time as well. Let me see. Let's see. Okay, so no. Okay, good. So everything is centered. So now what's going to happen is at some point in the conversation, now you have these three sounds. So this is how it starts, right? Well, that's not how it starts. Let's just go to 10 real quick. So this is where the verse starts.
Information. From the way these people talk here in that conversation.
If I just sit here and mute the main three sounds on the first part of the melody, see, now I have to find a way to balance those three as well. So again, the envelopes, again, if I have it set hard on just the, if I have it set static on the faders, those are going to stay that the entire time, regardless. But because I don't want it to stay that way the entire time, because you have so many tracks going at once, so many different sounds going at once, what's going to more likely than not happen is we'll put envelopes on these for automation as well. And in doing that, then we'll be able to get to a space where we can create more space because everything's not just focused and pushed into the same sonic space. So everything's not dead center. Something will be a little more left, something will be a little more right, which gives the whatever's going to stay middle more space to breathe and do what it needs to do and create more of a layer or of a stack for these circumstances. So hang on.
Sounds like there's an intimation from the way these people talk here in their conversation. They really think y'all rappers out here killing shit like Jason. Seems like I lack a concentration with a bit of skill deprivation. And your soul is dead, I can't feel you. Were you an imitation?